Hey, I'm live, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Brandon here. I am trying YouTube for a live stream, and we're gonna see how this works. So, on Facebook for a while, I have been doing a series called Ask Alex, and I find that I have some time in between when I drop off my boys at school and when I get home. So, while being able to concentrate on the road, I am simply going to answer a series of questions that fans have for me, as well as sometimes take the good old iPhone into the studio and show you how I write music, create sound effects, integrate sound effects, do audio director things, do music supervisor things, do all kinds of audio related things with games and music writing. So thanks for watching, anybody that's joining me. Let's see, today's subject, there actually is one. Usually what takes place is you go onto my Facebook or Twitter page or Instagram, let's just say Twitter or Facebook fan page, and you ask me a question. I put it down in a list and then I get to it at some point in the future. So I've had a number of really good questions from fans. Thank you so much for those that have already asked. Today isn't a question. I also have subjects that I come up with and I put into this nice little organized Google sheet. And then when I've already answered them, I just check it off. So today's story is going to be about Shroud of the Avatar. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Shroud of the Avatar, it is a spiritual successor to the Ultima role-playing game series. And it is by Portalarium Games in Austin, Texas. Portalarium is Richard Garriott's company, and Richard Garriott started Origin Systems way back, I think in Massachusetts at first, and then after that in Austin. And Origin has at least two meanings. One is the start of whatever it was Richard was making, but it was also the start mostly of the game development community in Austin. So when it closed in the mid-90s, it was pretty sad for a lot of people, but not before they had come out with a number of groundbreaking games, including the Ultima series, which is to this day one of the still most well-known and groundbreaking role-playing series on PC. So, my friend Jason Emery, my oldest and dearest friend, he introduced me to Ultima 6, and Ultima 6 was the first one that the first one I saw was Ultima 5 on his Apple. Then when his parents got a 386 PC, he played Ultima 6 on that with an ad-lib synthesizer card, and it sounded awesome. It looked amazing. I was hooked on RPGs, and I really loved the pieces of music from Herman Miller, Kenneth Arnold. There were several composers for Ultima 6, and there were a number of iconic Ultima themes, including Stones, right? So Stones is a theme that's from the Ultima series, and I did a remix of that for a game developer conference online in 2011. Richard Garriott attended that, and I've been able to connect with him more or less directly because I've worked in the industry for a while. Warren Spector, as a matter of fact, was my first boss, and he was a producer of at least a couple of Ultima games. Serpent Isle was the one that Warren is most well known for, as far as I know, and that's the expansion to Ultima 7, The Black Gate. Blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I connected with Richard, and he said, yeah, you can provide some music for Shroud of the Avatar. Now, given that it had a Kickstarter going for it, and I thought, wow, this is great. Let's just get in touch with Richard, see what I can do. And he let me arrange a theme that had been written for Ultima, but not actually used. And that became the theme for Shroud of the Avatar. It was written by Kenneth Arnold, who is a crossbow maker in Austin, and I don't know if that's his day job or not, but I got to go into the Portalarium office, sit down with Richard, go through all of the Ultima music and listen to it and hear his the importance of each one and how it was essentially used, because a lot of it is tied very much into the game storylines. Iolo the Bard is considered the virtual version of Kenneth Arnold, or so I think I've been told. So sitting down with Richard and getting to listen to these Ultima themes was pretty amazing. Now, what significance does this have other than for me, right? Well, in role-playing games, this music that I'd been listening to for years held great significance because of its simplicity, because of this being played back through these synthesizer cards. They still had a medieval-ish type ballady feel to them, right? So, but in this case, for Shroud of the Avatar, if you go and you listen to the main theme, it has more of an orchestral, grandiose sound to it. And that's really where I wanted to go, because Ultima went from ad-lib to eventually in Ultima 9 live orchestral with a smaller ensemble written and composed and recorded by George Olje, who had done Wing Commander theme here and there, and there's some great themes in there that he has written as well. So so I wanted it to be somewhat grandiose, and I had written themes for Dungeons and Dragons role-playing expansions for Obsidian, like Neverwinter Nights, so there's this whole stigma, I think, that high fantasy needs to be in this realm of orchestral plus medieval Renaissance type instrumentation. So then it gets you thinking, is there any other place that high fantasy music can go? And that is a question that I pose for y'all that are watching. And so that's pretty much it. That's the story behind the theme for Shroud of the Avatar. It was a very high point for me. Thank you very much to Richard and the team at Portalarium for letting me be a part of it. And go check it out. And Kenneth Arnold is on Twitter, so you can honor the themes that he's written for Ultima there as well. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to wait till I actually get to more of a stopping point here.